Hello, I'm Earl Bates, and welcome to Contact Omaha, the area's only ongoing live phone-in talk show that lets you, the audience, participate. Our guest this evening is the slightly irreverent, mildly outrageous, occasionally controversial, but always entertaining star of stage and television, radio, and recording studio, Mr. Otis XII.
I believe you left out enigmatic.
Oh,
I did check your notes there.
Welcome, Otis. Thanks for coming by.
Nice to be here.
Sounds like you're a pretty busy fellow.
Well, not today.
Well,
or busy? You think this would be on my list?
Well,
no, of course not.
Well, currently, Otis, you're the morning DJ on Z92, the drive time, Mr. Fun Man, and also, would you call it a critic at large for Channel 7?
Extra large.
Extra.
The large T-shirts don't fit.
Okay.
Just entertainment critic, subcontractor, and cause celeb. I don't know what this Mr. Fun Time means in the morning, and I'm still stuck back there. Yeah, I do mornings on Z. And,
how do you get up at 6 o'clock, 5? When do you get up in the morning?
I used to get up at 3:30 in the morning. Lately, I've been taking much better care of myself, and I've been cutting it a little close, getting, into the studio. But, it's up around, it's up before sunrise.
You know, a lot of folks are familiar with you on the radio and on television, and a few might even remember you with the Ogden Etzel Wahalia Blues Ensemble Mondo Bizarro Band.
Very few, which is why I'm not with the band anymore. No.
But before then, they say, well, okay, did Otis land here from the planet Mars, or, were you born in Omaha?
The planet Mystic Flockum.
Where are you from, Otis?
Where am I from?
From where are you?
You're not talking like my genealogy here. We're talking some kind of geographic link to the past. I was born in Des Moines.
Oh.
Actually, I left there when I was 6 months old, so I really don't get back to see the old gang too often.
Miss them.
Although they write.
You hitchhiked in
I
after?
made a lot of friends there. I moved to Philadelphia, and then on to Kansas City, which is really what I consider my hometown. I learned to speak, however, in Philadelphia. That is to say, English. I'm not sure what else I might have learned there. And when I came to Kansas City at the age of 8 or 9, I talked like this, it's a 30-30, and I looked at gravel road, it's a 30 street. Okay. And of course, the nuns at the school I was going to immediately sent me to a speech therapist.
A Catholic school?
Yes. They thought I had a speech impediment. They didn't know what a Philadelphia accent was. And, the pathologist taught me to speak like I come from nowhere.
You are a product, then, of a Catholic education.
Yeah.
High school, Catholic high school?
I was in a Benedictine monastery, actually, for a while.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously, in Natchez, Kansas, St. Benedict's.
Oh, Listen to the Quiet.
Yes.
I remember that.
And,
I have a poster.
And went on to a Jesuit college, and,
Creighton University.
Yes, indeed, for a while, and Missouri.
Is that where you hooked up with the Ogden Etzel? Was it Creighton?
Well, that's where Ogden Etzel started. If we're talking about the world-famous Ogden Etzel Wahalia Blues Ensemble Mondo Bizarro Band, the OEWE BMBB, of course, responsible for dead puppies, and I do underline the word responsible. A very fun bunch. We had a great time, and we were together off and on in various guises over, probably 9 or 10 years, I guess. Jim Seller, Diver Dan Toomey, Bill Frenzer, and I started that at Creighton.
Right.
And then Jim dropped out of it for a while, and Bill and I went on, and I think I left the band in 1978. So.
You made it to L.A. for a while, didn't you?
Oh, a couple of times for a while.
How long were you there?
We lived there one period of about 1.5 years, another period of about 2 years, and then when I left the band, we were living in San Francisco. We also lived in lovely Escondido, California.
Escondido, where?
That's where they make Dr. Bronner's peppermint oil Castile soap. The wisdom of the Essene rabbis revealed at last.
Did you play much when you were out there in Los Angeles?
Yeah, we showcased a lot. Of course, it's impossible. You can make a lot more money playing here in Omaha than you can in L.A. because everyone says, you need the exposure, we're not going to pay you. You know how that works. So.
And the Ogden Etzel Wahalia Blues Ensemble Mondo Bizarro Band was music and comedy.
Music. It was like we used to describe it, I guess closest thing was like rock and roll, vaudeville. Listen to the comedy and laugh at the music was one of the slogans. I think a reviewer, that low class of people called reviewers gave us that line.
Well, speaking of that, now you're with KETV, Channel 7. Yeah. But back up a little bit. When you came back from Los Angeles, you were right to Z92?
No.
How much of a
role? When I left the band, like I said, I was in San Francisco, and I came back here. And then I did some other things for a while.
Okay, what does a person of your talents do in between real jobs?
I found bank robbery was pretty good pay. hour by hour, when you figure it out, sure, a couple of tough scrapes, but no.
The guy in the post office.
Let's face it, I have to admit it, no. You know, whatever I could do. I've driven trucks before. I worked with a psychiatrist for a while. He worked with me. No, actually, I did some counseling. Did some other things. You know, I can lift heavy objects. I have good lifting techniques. I never bend like a crane. I always bend the knees. And so, you know, I just keep working, and then...
So the Z92 started up, and you were with Diver Dan in the beginning.
Yeah. Dan and I had been doing the comedy act at some of the... This is when the comedy shoppies first finally started cropping up. Oliver's Back Alley, and one day the program director from Z92 came out there, actually through another guy, but I'll just leave it at that, and said, hey, you want to do the morning show? We said, will you pay us? And
Fantastic.
he said yes, so we couldn't believe that, so we took that.
That's great.
And Dan and I were partners there for 6 years. So.
What happened to Dan?
Nothing. Why, have you heard something?
No,
as far as I know,
Jim,
he's at home today.
Well, he's not with you anymore. Why is that?
Well, he and I ended our partnership. I left the station. I wanted to get out of radio, so we dissolved our partnership. Very, you know, been nice, and went on. I went to work for an ad agency for a while, and then after about 6 months, I thought I'd get back in radio, and I was going to go somewhere else, and
decided to stay here?
Got back together with Sandy, and got a nice offer. Some things were working. Sandy was my partner at that time, and now I'm with Sandy. So
who writes your stuff?
Johnny Carson writes all our material.
He's not on strike then?
No, he's never been. No, obviously we do. We can't afford writers. We have no budget at all.
How much time does that take?
Well, when I'm not wasting my time on TV shows like this. No, it depends. You know, it's like anything else. Some days they write themselves. Some days you have to sort of struggle over whatever, whether it's some mean farmer or whatever. It takes me no time at all if Sandy's writing a Roseanne Grubbs, you know, so we write some things together, some things apart, switch back and forth.
How much is ad lib?
Well, a lot. Obviously, you can't write a 4-hour show every day.
Okay.
You just have some structure, some skeleton to hang the meat on, you know, is the old phrase.
And so now you're also a critic at large. And
what's this at large thing?
Well, what is? So I mean, I've heard the term critic at large.
I remember Mike Clark used to use it at Channel 3, and the joke was he was Citroen was on 6, Clark was on 3 when I got the job first on 7, and the joke was Mike sent me a nice little note, says welcome to the critic at extra large, which was his line. So
as a matter of fact, we have you brought some clips.
Yeah, I did. Sort of an example. It's sort of neat to come on a show and show my clips.
Okay.
Of me showing other people's clips.
I see.
It's a strange, convoluted concept.
I think they've got that queued up. Do you want to give us a little lead on?
Well, this is just an example of the way I approach things sometimes on Channel 7. You know, a little off center. The clips had come for 2 movies, and we'll show you reviews of 2 movies. And I sort of noticed that they sort of fit together. See if what you notice here. First one I'll show you is a review of Arnold Schwarzenegger's big hit Predator. And if they can roll that tape, won't you? Up in the booth, please. First, Commando. You said you'd kill me last. I lied. Then Terminator. I'll be back. Now, Predator. Arnold likes these very teeny tiny titles and just tiny bits of dialogue.
I knew these men. Green Berets out of Fort Bragg. Now what the hell were they doing here?
I don't know, Dutch. This is inhuman. Nobody told me there was an operation in this area. They shouldn't have been here.
Somebody sent them.
Huh? Well, let's hear that again.
Somebody sent them.
What? Well, who cares what he said? Arnie can act. In Predator, the terminating commandos become the prey of something.
Who did this?
I don't know. I saw something.
I'm scared, Pancho.
You ain't afraid of no man.
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
He's killing us one at a time.
Like a hunter.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I don't know, I could be wrong, but the version I saw is a little different than that one. But Anyway, if you liked Alien or Aliens or any of Freddy's flicks, then, well, Predator should be your cup of blood. Cup of Arnold. For Newswatch 7, I'm Otis 12. As you can see, you know, maybe a slightly different slant on Arnold there, and you may have noticed a little dog in there who may or may not have been in there. We noticed
Benji. What happened to Benji?
We noticed the backgrounds matched so well. So the next night, also playing simultaneously,
yes,
is Benji. So we did this review of Benji, and they can roll that now. Benji, here,
Good
boy.
The biggest canine star since Underdog. Anyway, did Benji get a start in Petticoat Junction? Or, never mind. Benji, as himself, the hunted. Benji finds some orphan cougars. Aww. Benji feeds some orphan cougars. Ooh. Benji defends some orphan cougars. Ooh.
I'm scared, Pancho. There's something out there waiting for us, and it ain't no man.
We can kill it.
Hey, wait a minute. Last time I thought I was hallucinating, but twice in a row, that's too much. Come on, let's get to the bottom of this.
I'm scared, Pancho.
You ain't afraid of no man.
There's something out there waiting for us, and it ain't no man.
Hey, what's going on here?
Sorry.
You guys call yourself professionals? Oh, well, too late to fix it now, but... Well, Benji the Hunted. Pretty good movie if you're a kid. If you're an adult, though, yeah, you'll be rooting for Arnold to show up. For Newswatch 7, I'm Otis 12.
I think, obviously, it stands by itself, evidence of a sick, twisted mind, and...
Quite a crew you had there. Now,
That was most of the Channel 7 crew, including the news director, Kirk Winkler, Scott Buer, the chief photographer, and some of the other folks in there.
Where do you come up with these ideas? Come on.
Half of them while we're shooting and just having a good time. That's the neat thing about it. It took me a while. First of all, you know, for a station to have courage, a TV station to have courage to hire a guy named Otis 12 is kind of out there.
I was going to ask how...
And then to just let me do what I want. But, you know, I think I show good judgment.
How much leeway do you have?
Well, you know,
I mean,
I have to show good judgment, and I've only been in slight bits of trouble a couple of times.
Any censorship or any...
No, self-censorship. I always try to censor myself before someone else does.
Any letters to the station?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, good and bad?
Good and bad, yeah. Mm-hmm. I always figure if you don't get it, actually mostly good, but some bad. If you don't get a little bad, I don't think you're quite doing your job. You can't play it too safe. You got to be right on the edge. Okay. Not of being tasteless or insulting or harmful to people at all, or cruel or mean. But, you know, you have to be, maybe concepts can upset people from time to time.
These were examples of movie reviews. Now, you do plays and what else?
Local plays, pizza joints. I'm ranking local pizza joints about at the rate of 1 every 4 months, I'd say. It takes a while to get around that. I don't pretend to be able to go review the French Cafe or Abercrombie's or anything like that. I stick to, you know, more the blue-collar places where I can afford to eat. So, you know.
What do you enjoy the most? I mean, which area of reviewing? The ballet, right? You're a big ballet.
Oh, the ballet.
fan.
Actually, I did. I've done pieces on the ballet. I've always had a great time down there.
Wait, you've been in the ballet?
No, not in. No.
I thought you were a dancer, maybe principal dancer with the Albuquerque.
No, absolutely not. I have all the grace of a barca lounger tumbling off a loading dock. But you know, whatever I can do. Opera, I've done symphony. You know, just sort of generally what's going on. Craft fairs.
Do you miss stage work at all?
Well, it's fun, but it takes a lot of time.
The nightclubs,
as you know, to work up comedy acts. It takes a lot of time to do that, so I just don't have it. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but I need some time off to set it up.
There's a rash or a rash of comedy. There's a rash of comedy clubs. Everyone wants to try comedy right now in Omaha, and quite frankly, a lot of the local work, some of it's mediocre, some of it's very good. But stand-up comedy is very difficult.
It's very tough.
And what do you think of the quality of what we're seeing here?
Oh, there's some good stuff being done.
Do you make it to the clubs?
Oh yeah, I get to them every once in a while. I've done some pieces, and I've snuck into a couple on my own just for a night out. I'm a tough audience, so it's hard to make me laugh because I'm always looking at like I used to do that. It's like a baseball player watching a baseball game or something. You always look at it in a little different way. It's like I'm analyzing what's going on. So I'm sort of a tough audience.
Well, how often do you get up on stage anymore?
Oh, it's been forever. I do a lot of MC stuff, and the rubber chicken circuit and some of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun, though, giving a little speech. So it's almost like doing a monologue.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's what my speeches are, because they're rarely written. But, that's a lot different than real stage work.
As far as reviewing is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
some reviewers, most recently there was a little bit of controversy about some reviewing.
I heard about that.
Yes, and how do you react to a negative response to your reviews? Does that change your attitude about how...
Depends on what kind of negative response. If it's, boy, you were really wrong, I thought the performance was good, well, that's legitimate. Their opinion's as good as mine.
Uh-huh.
But if it's like, you owe me a good review from X, Y, or Z, no, I can't listen to that. That's silliness.
In a lot of your work, Otis, you've got gimmicks or shtick, or it's kind of a routine, which makes it interesting, to watch, and people will tune that in. Do you ever think that gets in the way of your job as a reviewer?
I identify my job actually more, I want to give some information, but I want to be entertaining, okay? I want to give information in an entertaining way, and I think I can do both.
How do you select what you review, and how does that prioritize, get on the list of priorities there? Well,
like if I've seen Friday the 13th, Part 7's coming out Friday, tomorrow. You want to go?
I think so, that's right.
I'll try to mix it. I'd like to get one good movie, or one movie I hope's going to be good, and with a couple of movies I sort of suspect are really, let's face it, are going to be pretty bad.
We have a call, Otis.
Oh, we do?
We have a call, so...
That's
yes,
my
indeed.
lawyer.
All right. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just wondered if Mr. 12 knew which did he prefer, radio or television work?
Well, actually, I tried to fix a television once and darn near killed myself. I like working on the radios. The voltage a lot lower there. I can't. No, really, I can't separate. There's two different things. They sort of go together for me right now, and they fit well, and they're both fun. So.
How do you divide your time? More radio because you're on the air.
In minutes and seconds.
Because you're on the air in the morning for what, 4 hours, 6 to 10?
Yeah.
On Z92.
On the air, yeah.
And then, to try and...
Then there's show prep and other things, so I'm usually out there. Like today, I think I left about 2. So.
And then as far as your TV work, that's got to take some time.
Yeah, it takes, I would say, an average, to get 3 stories together for a week, which is what I do Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on the 5 o'clock news. And, of course, those are rerun then on the following mornings, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday morning with Dave Foote. That's a nice plug, wasn't it? See, I worked that right now. No, it's about 20 hours a week, 25 hours a week on that. So.
What's your least favorite thing to review?
My least favorite thing to review. There's some, obviously there's some bad movies I don't want to sit through that I have to spend time sitting through, but they're fun to review because you can, like, as you saw in those pieces, I'm going to have fun doing the piece. So,
we have a call.
We have a call? Yeah,
Sure.
let's
Hang
get
on.
Take me off the hook on that question.
There we go. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Otis a question about some of the music that he did back some time ago. I understand that you were in a band, and it had quite an unusual name.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show. The Ogden Etzel Wahalia Blues Ensemble Mondo Bizarro Band. I assume that's what you're talking about?
Right. Are you, it seems like you're a man of many talents doing the radio show and doing all of these critiques on movies and things on television. I just wonder if you're ever going to get back into music.
Well, let me make it clear right away, and Earl will probably testify, I'm not really a musician at all, but I've always hung around with the talented people who make me look good. From Bill Frentzer's harmonica playing talent, even through the nose.
Through the nose.
Bill Carey, great guitarist, Richie Thiemann, great songwriter, and Bill Carey, great songwriter, and those kind of people, and hanging out with people like Sandy Palmer, who writes well and makes me look good, and hang out with, when I worked with Diver Dan, who writes well and made me look good, and for Channel 7, Kirk Winkler and Scott Buer, who handled me right and make sure I do things right and teach me a lot. So if you hang out with the right people, I've always found, you know, you ride, let's face it, you know.
You've got a very distinctive voice, Otis, and as far as a vocalist in a band, that was one of the highlights.
I have a voice, it's more like, you know, if Jim Nabors had ever been a superstar as a singer, you know, I can do all those, you know, it's about the way I sing, you know, or Crazy Guggenheim is, you know, I sing in that sort of operatic basso profundo, you know.
Well, with the Dead Puppies, how many times did you have to, how long did you work on that?
How long do,
on that particular,
we wrote,
that song.
in writing that song?
Mm-hmm.
That song was written in like 2 hours.
Is that right?
And then, since then, performed 400,000 times, you know, so.
We gotta have another call.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for calling. You are on the air.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Otis, where is Diver Dan now, and is he still keeping in contact with him?
Gee, I haven't talked to him today. I'm not in contact with him a whole lot, you know, to tell you the truth. But he's doing, on Cox, he's doing a call-in sports show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think he's on the air there on Cox 7 at 6 o'clock. In fact, that'd be tonight. So if you want to flick over to Cox 7 there and you call him up, and he does a sports talk show. And he's a great writer. He's been writing for Omaha Magazine and some other things, so he's keeping real busy.
Okay, we have another call here.
That's my lawyer. Now I know that.
Must have lost that
because he's
person.
never figured out how to operate a telephone.
Speaking of Diver Dan, Jim Seller, I saw him, he's still writing music, and he had his guitar down at the Howard Street Tavern one evening during their comedy
And he's
show.
done some comedy show. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, too, that he'd done that. Yeah, great writer.
Any new projects coming up, Otis?
Oh, I think the next project is we're going to put out, or hoping to put out a tape of Mean Farmers, Greatest Hits, and Roseanne Grubbs, sort of two of the more twisted radio characters we've invented right now. And
a videotape?
No. Although there is a chance of a video, too.
We have another call here.
Which would be really twisted. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for calling. You're on.
Otis.
Yes.
Along with your many talents, one thing you haven't talked about is your athletic prowess.
Which one was this? What are you referring to?
You're the long jumper, right?
Let's talk about your softball.
Oh, my softball.
And your golf.
My golf is totally laughable. My softball, are you referring to anything specifically? Did you witness me doing something of note?
I've witnessed you quite often playing softball.
Oh, yeah. Well, I always have a good time playing softball. I do it for fun. I can turn a home run into a triple with my blazing speed, and the field leans when I run hard. I play for fun. Actually, I haven't even had a chance to play this year yet, but I've sort of cut down on some of my duties and some of my other projects.
I didn't know you were a jock.
I'll see you.
We have another call here. Thank you for calling.
Hi. I just want to know what happened to his hair.
Not nice.
We're waiting for the results of the tests, and...
No, did you have to get a cut because of the television show?
No, actually, you mean why did I cut it real short all of a sudden? Because, I was just tired of the way it looked, and it was falling out. It seemed silly not to, try to run it long on the sides.
You look great, Otis.
And I decided I wasn't going to comb it across here,
Oh, you're working out, especially in the wind.
Yeah, with 3 hairs down, and I decided to let it go, and I did,
I'm right behind you, Otis, isn't it?
And you laugh at my hair, but remember when it was real windy?
Yes.
Earlier in the week? I went outside, my hair didn't get messed up at all.
No problem.
It was solid. And no mousse. So that saved me a lot,
Well, once again, though, what are your plans for the future? Here forever in Omaha, or moving on?
No, actually, I'm going to Florence tonight. No, I guess that's Omaha's been the next, hasn't it? Yeah, Florence Melodrama up there tonight. You got to come up and see it. And I hope to stay here for a while. I got, I think 22 years on the mortgage yet, and I got a couple of kids. I'd like to, I like living here. It's a good place for my kids. And as crazy as I am, I have enough trouble surviving here. If I went to a really wild big city, I'd be burnt out in 15, 20 minutes. So, no, I like this town a lot.
Well, when you were touring with the Ogden Nets, so you did a little bit of touring.